My name is Jarvis Harris. I'm a licensed attorney, practicing attorney in Greensboro, North Carolina. I specialize in workers' compensation law. I also have a photography business. The photography business, I kind of got bit by the photography bug um, probably in 2020, 2002, 2003. One of my fraternity brothers was a photographer, and my oldest daughter and I went to him for some daddy-daughter photos when she was probably about 10 months old. And I just kind of remember shortly after that, kind of looking over his shoulder, asking about photography and buying my first digital SLR and kind of started the journey there. So that kind of started J. Harris Photography and Design. I've now started sewing, so I've kind of rolled the sewing into the J. Harris Photography, and now I guess more of the design part. I really have one business, but they have kind of two separate kind of components. I discovered the Forge probably just in some meetings. I'm a former board member of GTCC, former board member with the Chamber of Commerce here in Greensboro. So I probably heard about it, ran into Andy Zimmerman a few times in different things. Didn't really dive too much into it because I was already pretty busy. But I really became acquainted with the Forge last summer, 2025, when my youngest daughter had a Makerspace here at the Forge. And I came down here with her because sometimes she wanted to be here late at night, and I didn't think that was necessarily a good idea. So I would bring work to do or help her with whatever she was working on, sometimes late at night. With the photography, just really understanding how to set up a business. At the same time, learning how to be a professional photographer. So I was blessed that my fraternity brother had been doing photography for a while. He introduced me to a studio here in Greensboro that he was working at, and that he was getting ready to leave because had gotten engaged and was going to move back to his hometown. So I sort of worked with them as almost like an apprentice for a while, increased my skills, my knowledge. I moved up to where I was a second shooter on weddings, which means I got paid and I had specific things that I needed to do at the weddings, to eventually graduate into where I was the primary photographer on weddings with that studio, which means it was all me, all the editing, photo album design, client relations, all those things. So basically, learning a lot on my own, and also just kind of being blessed to be introduced to good situations to where I could learn the craft and also learn the business side. With regards to the sewing component and the textile component, it's just been an invaluable resource. When I first started coming down here last summer, I didn't own a sewing machine. I knew nothing about embroidery. I knew nothing about industrial sewing machines for leather or just other types of fabric. So just the exposure to those type of things and kind of encouraging me to, one, be signed off on those machines, which means I had to go through orientation and learn how to use those machines. And then just what I learned here prompted me to do my own research with YouTube and podcasts to just try to take my knowledge even further. I've taken classes here at the Forge, and I've taken classes other places. So the Forge has been a good place to kind of learn at my own pace. And then obviously having 24-hour access here, I can just kind of come down and experiment and play, make mistakes, and learn and grow through those mistakes. I think it allows you to develop your business idea without a lot of, I guess, capital investment up front. For instance, if you want to sew, we have professional industrial sewing machines, but we also have 6 or 7 domestic sewing machines that you could also use. So you don't have to go right out and buy a sewing machine. Obviously, due to the donations that we get from members and also supporters in the community, you don't have to go out and buy a lot of fabric or zippers or thread. We have a lot of those things here at the Forge, which again gives you a leg up that you can basically try to start a business without having huge capital investment at the start.